Luna Snow is often recognized as one of the easy supports, and even though she might be simple to pick up and play, the difference between a person filling Luna and someone that is a Luna player is quite noticeable. My name is Paz, an Eternity support player on the competitive ladder, and I'm going to tell you the things you actually need to know in order to pop off and carry on Luna Snow. Before we get started with her abilities, understand that the way you carry on Luna Snow is by staying alive and getting your ultimate as fast as humanly possible. If you are consistently out farming the enemy Luna Snow, you are going to be doing a lot more for your team, especially the higher you go in ranked. The way that you are going to out farm the enemy isn't by just healing. It must also include weaving in impactful damage and possibly even finding picks throughout the fight to relieve pressure from your team. With this in mind, let's start talking about Luna's kit. Starting off with Luna's primary fire, Luna shoots a hit scan burst of 3 shots, meaning they hit wherever you are aiming at instantly when you fire. Each shot does 20 damage or healing per pellet, meaning a full burst does 60 with 10 bursts before you have to reload. The critical multiplier in Rivals doubles damage, so in order to kill squishies, you'll need to burst them 2 times in the head and once in the body, unless you have a damage boost, which will allow you to 2 burst squishies with 250 health, with each burst doing 134 damage if it's Mantis boosted. Luna's primary damage does have fall off though, occurring at 20 meters out and ends at 40 meters out with a 60% decrease to the overall damage. What's nice is that this doesn't affect her healing though, so staying in the back isn't always the worst thing ever. Now that we know how her primary works, let's talk about it in a deeper sense. Yes, Luna Snow can deal a lot of healing, and you should be looking to heal your team most of the time, but her supplemental damage can be very critical to the success of her team. Let's look at a couple of ways her damage can really impact a game. First, through breaking destructibles. Luna's damage is perfect for destroying destructibles mid-fight like Moon Knight's Onks or Nemours turrets. She can deal with them quickly and easily, and also when playing Luna, you have the easiest time seeing these deployables because of where you should be placed in the fight. You have the mental resources to see these things that the tanks and DPS players just don't. So sometimes it really is just up to you to break these things. You should also do damage on Luna to build up ultimate charge like we talked about earlier. Luna has the best support ultimate in the game at the time of recording this video. She essentially becomes immortal for 12 seconds alongside the rest of her team, which we'll discuss the semantics later, but realize that because of this, it is imperative that you understand the difference between someone filling Luna and a Luna player, and that is how fast they can charge their ultimate. Dealing damage is where the ultimate farm can be refined and done quickly. In between fights, there is no reason for you not to be looking for some chip damage on the enemy if you do not have ultimate. Not only are you going to be building charge, you will also find some cheeky picks here and there. Just make sure that you're not going to get your head taken off when you're farming by like a Hawkeye or something, or just poking when you already have your ultimate, because then you are just giving the enemy supports their ultimates through healing. You got to really make sure that you're farming efficiently and not helping the enemy team as well. Lastly, for the same reason that Luna is in charge of breaking deployables, it is also important for her to look for damage to either finish off low targets or just to apply pressure to flankers before they engage. Even the best DPS in the game are not going to be able to finish their plate in every duel. Sometimes they leave a few crumbs of HP on the enemy, and this is where you can really carry games with impactful frags. In these situations, you will already be supporting your duelist in the 1v1, so it is easy to spot. It's just up to you to execute with your aim. The same goes for if you see an enemy taking an off angle on your team, but they aren't focusing you. 2 bursts to the dome and they have to back off and get healing, allowing your team to catch up and get ready for the next fight. Your teams in ranked aren't always going to be able to win if all you can do is heal. Some games the fights are so back and forth that that extra little bit of damage you could do might be the difference between a win and a loss. If you are newer to shooter games and want some tips to hit more shots on Luna Snow to get better at outputting stats with her in general, the type of aim you'll want to get better at is tracking. I am by no means an aim coach, but I'll put some resources in the description to help you guys all get better at that. So let's move on to her next ability. Next up is Luna's Shift, the ice arts commonly referred to as her clap. Upon using the ability, Luna Snow switches up her fire mode for 6 seconds to clap out huge icicles that pierce through enemies and friendlies, dealing 75 healing per shot and 50 damage per shot. The ability is on a 15-second cooldown, which is reasonably long, but not too bad either. When using Ice Arts, Luna's passive is also activated, which heals her for 30 HP a second for 3 seconds, which is helpful for finding impactful angles with the ability if you manage to get pressured for a little bit of your HP. Running along with the themes we have talked about earlier with the primary fire, this ability is all about getting your ultimate farmed as fast as humanly possible. And the way that you do that is by lining up as many targets as possible, both friendly and enemy. So when you use this ability, you'll want to try to avoid just trying to flank and do damage with it, even though it's easier to hit the shots with it. You want to start by angling to support your tanks against theirs and then trying to hit anyone else on the way. The most common mistake Luna players make with this ability is that they use it either too early in the fight where the team at large doesn't need that much healing, or they use it too late that their team dies while the cast animation is going through. Typically, I like to look for when my tanks are about 40% to 60% HP, or for when my team is starting to take an engagement and pushes forward. In these situations, one of the teams is looking to push, which means heroes are stacked more often than not in this meta, which allows me to get a lot done on the character. Now, if you are finding yourself against characters like Venom, Black Panther, or any other dive-centric hero, using the Ice Arts to peel for your friendly support while chipping away at the flanker's health bar is a fine use as well. It just doesn't come up as often since that composition isn't the most popular right now, and the Snowball can sometimes be a better answer given different situations if you can hit it. So let's talk about that cooldown right now, Absolute Zero. Luna's Snowball, also known as Absolute Zero, launches out a fast-moving projectile after a short delay that deals 50 damage and freezes enemies on impact for a little less than 3 seconds if left untouched. After launching the Snowball, Luna's passive is also triggered, just like with her shift, that heals her for 90 HP over 3 seconds. What people don't know about the Snowball is that you can actually shoot a frozen target for half a second after impact and it will not unfreeze them. Luna can capitalize on this one with a burst right after the freeze hits, and other players can too, which is pretty cool, pun intended. Anyways, there are a lot of different ways that you can use this ability. One way is to cancel any cast-based ultimates like Doctor Strange or Storm, for example. This will set their ultimate charge to 50% and can absolutely win you games if you can get consistent with your timing. Another way to use it is to peel for yourself. Is the Black Panther tickling you all game and your DPS just aren't peeling for you? Try to hit a Snowball. I say try because, well, good luck hitting the Snowball in that situation. Realistically, the way you can hit these types of snowballs more consistently is to anticipate when the enemies are going to use their movement abilities at you in a straight line, and then cast your Snowball right before they engage so they effectively play themselves. Kind of like how you would sleep a Genji blade in Overwatch if you played that game. This will take some practice though, to be honest. The last way is to actually use the ability aggressively to set up pick opportunities for your team. And this is a lot more common than some people think. The amount of times I just take a quick little off angle in the middle of a fight and freeze a Punisher while he is trying to melt my tanks with infinite ammo is pretty crazy. You just have to be careful about being too aggressive with this ability. If they have a character that can quickly jump on you shortly after using your Snowball, you should hold onto it until they are eliminated or forced out of the fight. Always check the scoreboard and make sure you know what is coming to help you hit the right target, not just any target at all. Honestly, the big mistake a lot of Luna players have with the Snowball is that they just kind of forget that it is a part of their kit and they never use it, which I don't really know why, because it's a pretty insane ability. Just make sure that you look at what the enemies have and don't waste a Snowball on a target that's useless that you don't even need to sleep, or one that's flying around in the air and is nearly impossible to hit, giving you nothing to peel for yourself, making you an easy target. Next up, we have Share the Stage, which allows Luna Snow to attach an idle aura to an ally that receives 35% more healing from her when targeted, as well as some healing when another target is healed while the idol is on that character. While it is pretty easy to understand what the ability does, it is important that you maximize your value with it, since it does allow you to outplay the enemy Luna Snow and charge your ultimate even faster. Typically, people that fill Luna just put the mark on a friendly DPS that goes on flanks just so that they don't really have to worry about them. It's easy, it's efficient, and it lets your DPS go on off angles, allowing you to pretty much just get free value. But there is definitely a much better way to use this ability. For example, what if you don't have a DPS lineup that wants to take off angles. Let's say that you have a Bucky and a Punisher with a Rocket Raccoon. Where can you even put your mark then? Well, if you have a tank that wants to get more aggressive, think characters like the Hulk, the Thing, Captain America, and Venom, you can actually place your mark on them so they can take space and also generate you a lot more ultimate charge simply because there is more for you to heal since they have more health to take damage at the end of the day. So instead of just attaching the idol to DPS because that's the most common and effective use, you should think about the idol as a cooldown that is passed around the team at different stages of the fight to get the most out of it. Place the idol on the target that is about to need it based on their behavior. So as your Hulk is about to jump in to challenge someone on an off angle, place the idol on him, support him in his mission, and then when he comes back and your Namor, for example, is about to start getting active on his angle, shift it to him. This balancing act of timing who needs the idol when is super important to master. Sometimes though, your DPS will go on an angle early in the fight that you probably won't be able to mark them throughout the fight. You have to anticipate these situations and put the idol on them early in ranked, since that will take precedent over min-maxing ultimate charge in my opinion, in that setting. To be honest, pathing to get the idol mid-fight is something DPS players need to start getting better at in my opinion, but in ranked, that doesn't really happen all the time, so it is important to note for you guys. Understanding this gameplay loop on Luna Snow is what will take you from being someone that fills on Luna to a Luna player. You are going to troll a lot and probably piss off quite a few DPS players, but eventually you will get really solid with this technique and start carrying games on Luna by not only keeping your team alive, but also generating your ultimate literally twice as fast. Now that we know how to farm Luna's ultimate, it's time to talk about it, the fate of both worlds. Upon casting the ability, Luna Snow immediately bursts 200 healing in a circle around her to all friendly targets and then heals for 250 HP per second for 12 seconds. Because it has a duration of 12 seconds, it is important to let your team know when it is about to go down in comms so they don't die. It's very easy to lose track of how long this ultimate has been up simply because of how long it goes. Luna can also press the ultimate again to radiate a damage boost aura instead that boosts friendly damage by 40% if they are inside the aura. She can switch between each healing aura or damage aura every 0.5 seconds. This means that if you damage boost Venom's ultimate, it allows you to one-shot anyone he hits with 250 health as it does 262 damage with the damage boost. Namor will one-shot through 275 health targets with damage boost as well. It is important to note though that the damage boost applies in Luna's ultimate when the damage hits and not when it is casted. This means that with Namor, you can pretty much just react to when the whale hits the ground. But with Venom, it is a little bit harder, warranting a 3-2-1 call on the Venom's part until you get really good at reacting to it. Most Lunas just heal when they're in their ultimate, but just like how fast you can charge your ultimate, the difference between someone filling Luna and someone that actually plays her is whether or not they know when they should be switching to damage. Usually you are just switching to damage for important ultimates like we just mentioned, or if you really need the extra damage to take out a target very quickly. Realize that the windows of opportunity for you to do damage with the ultimate have to be small, because when you are damage boosting, you really only have one support since you can't heal. It's all on your other guy. Also note that you are not invincible when you are in Luna's ultimate. You can die, and the higher that you go, the more that it will happen, especially when you are on the damage aura since you aren't healing. It's very risky. Things that will commonly kill you are a Hawkeye arrow to the dome, a Magneto ultimate getting dunked onto your dome, or a rocket boosted Punisher ultimate to the dome. Okay, yeah, the same goes for if you get hit by the center of a Namor ultimate too. It's actually pretty common in higher elos to bait the enemy Luna ult by starting out with yours or vice versa. Then you can call for a friendly Namor to chuck Whale at the other Luna's Tranquility to instantly kill her with damage boost. I had to learn about this the hard way, so I'm just calling this to your attention so you know when it's coming. This also means that if the enemy has a Groot and Namor, sometimes it is better to just accept defeat than to waste the Luna Snow ultimate. Same goes for Scarlet Witch and Iron Man ultimates. You are not invincible in Luna ults. You are Achilles, and sometimes you will be reminded of that if you are not ready. Barriers also block the Luna healing, meaning that your team isn't safe all of the time either. Strange Shield, Magneto Shield, Groot Walls, and the environment are all things that can block your heals. Yes, this means that sometimes even the payload can block your heals on specific maps, so keep that in mind too. One last thing to talk about is what Luna's ultimate is actually used for. Yes, you can use it to counter DPS ultimates that are important, but just like I said in every other support guide I've made, make sure that you actually need to use your ultimate on Luna before you just pull the trigger. Some ultimates can get blocked by neutral kits. For example, if an enemy Hela ults you, but you have a Strange, you can just fly up and block it, meaning you don't really need to Luna Snow ult it. Same goes for a Psylocke ultimate if you have a Loki. He can just use his clones to soak up the damage. So yes, ultimates are important to counter, but there are a lot of different ways to do this in the game. That one tip won't set you up for everything. The only thing I try to avoid when ulting with Luna is just ulting to engage. If you want to use your ultimate for a push on Luna, you'll want to wait until your team is actually set up and ready in the position where they've pretty much already pushed, not while they are walking to the position. You do have 12 seconds, but it is so important to make every single second count in Luna Snow's ultimate. Remember, they probably have ultimates too, so it's important to make the most out of yours. Before we move on to the next portion of the guide, let's quickly cover Luna's passives. The first one is Cryo Heart that we've already mentioned, that heals Luna for 90 over 3 seconds whenever she enters her clap form or throws out a snowball. This is super nice and helps you stay alive as Luna. Just keep in mind though that realistically you want to avoid using these cooldowns just to live, and you really want to get help from your other support or a health pack first, but it's not the end of the world if you need to use these cooldowns to live. Anything is better than dying on support. The next passive Luna has applies when she moves forward for half a second, which allows her to start skating faster and also grants her access to a higher jump height. This is pretty helpful in specific instances when you need just a little bit more of a boost to get on high ground. The specific place I found this to be super useful is here on one of the T'Challa maps on defense, but I'm sure there are other places as well. In this spot, you have to spin in a circle before you start skating, or you can skate up to it and jump twice. Sometimes you'll have to get creative, but it does help if you need to get back onto the high ground in a pinch. Luna also has 2 other passives when teaming up with others, but we'll talk about those after we talk about who counters Luna. Now that we have finished talking about Luna's kit and how to play her, you might be wondering, what the hell counters Luna? And to be honest, that is a really great question. Luna is really strong right now. So strong, the ultimate way to counter her is, well, to ban her. Okay, but what if you don't want to do that and you want to keep her in the game? The way Luna Snow gets countered is realistically by anyone that can catch her out of position, whether that be a Hela on an off angle or any dive character that can jump her after she wastes her clap or snowball. Realistically, characters that are pretty good at this could be Star-Lord, for example. He flies around, can dodge your snowball, and pressure you from afar, forcing out your cooldowns, setting you up to get killed. The same goes for characters like Black Panther or Magic if they are good enough to make you miss your snowball. But at the end of the day, it comes down to how confident you feel with the character and the ability. You could also say that characters like Strange counter her because they can deny her ultimate, or anyone that can one-shot her in the ultimate, but these aren't really counters per se. Luna isn't like Loki that has specific characters that makes her game super difficult right now, which is why she is so strong, on top of her numbers just being absolutely insane too with the season bonus. As for what Luna is good with, well, there is a lot. To be honest, there isn't a single place where she isn't good. Luna does have standalone synergy with Jeff the Shark and Namor, as she gives them abilities that make them each an absolute menace. Jeff gets the ability to spit out icy pellets that slow down enemies, while Namor gets a blue Kraken turret that slows down enemies a lot more than it realistically should. It's pretty insane, so Luna is pretty good with these two, and that is an understatement, especially with Namor. Luna also gets a team up with Iron Fist that allows her the ability to self-peel for herself like crazy. At the press of a button, she knocks back any enemies around her, dealing 25 damage and healing her team for 75, while also slowing down any enemy quite a bit. To be honest, I'm surprised we haven't heard more about this team up in ranked now that Iron Fist is a pretty solid character too, so really people are sleeping on this one. Outside of team ups, Luna is also really good with Loki, since it allows both of them to abuse the strength of her ultimate incredibly consistently, giving their team effectively 24 seconds of borderline immortality whenever they want it. There's a reason why this support support combo is so strong right now. To be honest, Luna is just good at everything. If your team wants to stack, she has Clap to heal them all. If your team wants to dive around, she has her idol. The only thing she doesn't really have is crazy high damage, but she still deals when she needs to. Perhaps if she ever gets nerfed, we will see where she truly slots in. But right now, there is really never a reason to pick anyone else over her no matter what. Maybe there are some busted supports on the way, but who knows? The only place I don't love playing Luna Snow is in triple support compositions, since it is quite a bit harder for her to farm her ultimate in that case. Even then, she is a necessity in any composition right now. But with all this discussion out of the way, let's start actually talking about where all of this can get applied within VOD reviews. So starting off with the first VOD I wanted to go over today, we've been talking a lot about what you can do right as Luna Snow, but we haven't really talked about how you can mess this character up and possibly troll a game. So I wanted to show you guys this situation of me. It was an Eternity ranked game. There's 14 seconds left in the round. Realistically, this is the last fight, but as you can see, I only have 87% to my ult. So I tell my tanks, hey, if we want to get aggressive here, maybe find a pick. I can also help you guys out. You guys will take damage. I'll get my ult and we should be fine to win the game. They have some things that are going to be pretty important for me to actually have my ult for, specifically this Groot ult. If we can block the Iron Man ultimate as well, that'll be able to create a good win condition for us. But I messed up here and I died. Surprise, surprise. But I'll show you guys what I could have done better here. So as you can see, I do go forward here. I am just farming my ult. I'm at 90%. I use my Clap to do some more damage and healing at the same time. And now we finally have my ult, but the problem is I die before I use it. Right here, honestly, I probably should just use it right here, if I'm going to be completely real with you. I think it's okay to squeeze it out a little bit more if this wasn't the very last fight of point, but because my ult is 12 seconds long and there's only 6 seconds left in the round, realistically, this is going to force them to come on cart with 6 seconds of my Luna Snow ultimate, and we should be able to win because they don't have any other support ultimate other than Mantis, and mine is longer than hers. That being said, if I wanted to squeeze it a little bit more, right now would have been the time for me to actually use my ultimate when I'm around 100 HP. I think that's my new rule, is that if I ever get around 100 HP on Luna Snow and I'm thinking about using my ultimate, I'm just going to pull the trigger. Because at 100 HP, I think that's a break point where most characters could just one-shot you. For example, Luna Snow could just headshot burst me right now and I would die. And if Luna Snow can one-shot me, I'm pretty sure most every other character in the game probably can one-shot me here too. So right there is immediately when I should have used my ultimate, because 100 HP in this game compared to other games is actually not that much HP. On top of this, I also should have known that when Mantis ults, she does give her whole team a speed boost. So that's even more of a reason for me to pull my ult a little bit early here. So this is just, I wanted to highlight one of the ways that you can actually lose if you're not expecting it. And I didn't learn this until pretty recently. So there you go. So for this VOD, I wanted to show you guys something that I think I could have done a little bit better if I absolutely maximized the value of my ultimate here. This is a mistake that I made in an Eternity lobby just the other day with Shocker in my duo. Realistically, what was happening here was we had an Invisible Woman ult. We were winning this fight, but then the Mag ults. I think that the Mag ult's probably going to go for my Invisible Woman. The reality is, though, it's probably not, because the Invisible Woman ult is almost down, as you can see on the screen. So here's the thing. He's probably going to gun for me next because he knows that I'm the one that has Luna Snow ultimate, and that's what's realistically going to be able to turn this fight. The thing is that we don't have a shield tank. We don't have a Strange. We don't have a Mag. I have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to run to. I'm in the middle of point. Sure, I probably could have hugged the right wall if I knew that he had Mag ult, but in these situations where you don't have anything to block it, I think there is a world where I could have possibly used the shield that Luna Snow ult gives you right when you use it to probably block the damage here and then turn with my ultimate, since they actually used their Luna Snow ultimate first up here. I ended up not doing that, and we do lose the fight because of it. You do have to use this at your own risk. The only reason why I think this is a misplay for me right now is that we have nothing that's going to be able to charge this Mag ult other than him just, you know, holding on to the meteor and just waiting for the very, very end. We don't have a Punisher. We don't have a Winter Soldier. We don't have anything that really shoots a lot of bullets at the Mag ult. So this is why I think in this situation it's fine. If you have like a Punisher or you have a bunch of characters that are going to shoot a bunch of bullets that are going to make this meteor huge, you're definitely going to die in those situations no matter what. So you might as well just try to play for your shield tank, or try to play bottom right where there was a little bit of extra cover there and just wait for your ult. The thing is, I did have to charge it, so we didn't really have that option. Just understand this is something that you can be doing. So for the last VOD, I wanted to show you guys a situation where I actually did something right for once, and I showed you how you can carry on Luna Snow, because in this situation, it's actually pretty crazy what had to be done in order to, you know, turn this fight. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer one. just for the context. As you can see here, we already won the fight. They were already down 3, but here's the thing. In ranked, sometimes people are just going to use their ultimates for no darn good reason. In this situation, Mantis uses her ultimate when we already won the fight, and now we have no support ultimates going into last fight into a magic ult, a strange ult, and a Bucky ult. And a Thor ult as well. 4 things that we probably want to have 2 ults for, but now we have none unless I can charge it. So, because I knew that we won the fight, instead of just sitting in the back and trying to just wait for people to come and just, playing support, just living, doing nothing, I opted to actually go forward here and try to build as much ult charge as possible. See that I'm at 72 here. I'm shooting the spawn though, and I'm not getting like a ton all at once, but because I'm prolonging my engagement up here and I clap the backline of the enemy team, I'm now at 87, which is huge considering I was just at 68 just a few moments ago. Unfortunately, some of my teammates died, but here's the thing. I charge it just in time as the Bucky goes in to save my teammates and then use it before they go in, not just countering Bucky ult, but also countering Thor and forcing the Cloak and Dagger to ult. This is the type of stuff in ranked that is going to make a big difference between someone that's just filling Luna and someone that's actually a Luna player. And I know I've been saying that a lot in the guide today. People still died in the ultimate, but the thing is, in lower level games or even in higher level games, if my team was just a little bit more consistent and cohesive, a play like that is what's going to really win you games. So keep in mind that everything, the name of the game on support is to not be scared, to not just sit in the back and do nothing. It is all about being proactive, getting your ult as fast as possible, and then looking to swing fights with it. And that closes out today's guide for Luna Snow in Marvel Rivals. If you have any questions, make sure to send them in the comments down below, as well as asking me live right now here on YouTube or on Twitch at twitch.tv/PazSwagger. I stream every single day that I upload, so be sure to check me out and learn more about everything we talked about today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. But until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.